السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الفاتحة إلى حبيب محمد نزل الحبشين والآخر عن حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين والوالدين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نويت التعلم والتعليم والتذكر والتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله والدعاء إلى الهدى والدلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وبره وثوابه آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. So we continue with our kitab Risalatul Jami'ah by Habib Ahmad bin Zain al-Habshi. We have arrived at the topic of Ma'asil Faraj, that is the vices of the private parts. So we go through the matan. Ma'asil Faraj, Ma'asil Faraj kazina wal liwat wal istimna' bil yad wa ghayriha min ma'asil faraj. Okay, these are the acts. These are acts like zina, sodomy, masturbation, and other such things. So in the Quran, Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ إِلَّا عَلَىٰ أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُم فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ وَمَنِ ابْتَغَىٰ وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. And those who guard their chastity, that is private parts, from illegal sexual acts, except from their wives or the captives and slaves that their right hands possess. For them, they are free from blame. But whoever seeks beyond that, then those are the transgressors. Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayat 5 to 7. So, in this ayah, Allah have warned against the vices of the private parts and tell us to guard our chastity. So the first part of the matan says that these are acts like zina. So scholars define zina as the penetration of the head of the male organ, that is the hashafah, into a woman's vagina or faraj without marriage, or we can say shubha. I will explain on that later. So that is actually sexual relations with anyone whom one is not married to, between male and female. Sexual acts with animals, although haram, does not constitute to a zina. This is the mu'tamad in our madhab. Although some say that it is a zina. So if it is zina, if we take it as zina, then the had will come in. There is the punishment, the had of 100 strokes and all this. So okay, first on the part that the penetration of the head of the male organ into a woman's vagina. This is first we take when they say the penetration of the head of the male organ, that is the hashafah, must be the whole hashafah. If it's half, it's not considered zina, or even a bit not considered zina. Must be the full hashafah must be submerged into the faraj, and it must be a real hashafah, not implanted or man-made or something. It must be a real hashafah. And same goes for the faraj. Must be faraj of a female woman, and must be real, not implanted or man-made. That means if they change sex, then man to woman, woman to man, this it doesn't. We don't call it zina, but it is still haram. It will be there will be no had, there will be no punishment of had but there will be ta'zir, it's warning, and they can be punished in other ways. According this depends on what the imam or the qadi feels suitable, and it must be outside of marriage. If it's between men and women who are married, then no problem at all. But if it's other than that, the only we can say not permissible is not punishable is we don't call it zina if it's a shubha. Shubha, that means he thought like they say this man thought that this is his wife. He's in a dark room and he thought it is this girl is his wife, and he go and have sexual intercourse with the wife, and the so-called wife, the woman who is not his wife, but who actually he thought is his wife. Then this is not considered zina. This is shubha, and the child, if there's a child born from this intercourse, then it's considered not zina child. I mean, not child out of wedlock. Although it is out of wedlock, but the child will still be the bin will be still, I mean, the son of to the father, to the person. And then what else? Okay, so we go. Next one is Walladina in the Quran. Walladina la yad'una ma'a Allah ilahan akhara wa la yaqtuluna an-nafsa allati harrama Allah illa bil haqq wa la yaznuna wa man yaf'al dhalika yalqi athama. So the Quran says that Allah says in the Quran, and those who do not invoke any other God along with Allah and do not kill a person whom Allah has given sanctity except rightfully, nor do they fornicate, and whoever does it shall face the recompense of his sin. So this ayah tells us that the act of zina is a big sin, and is placed, the third is placed as the first one is the biggest sin. Yeah, the biggest sin will be the shirk that is invoke other God along with Allah, and the second one will be killing a person unrightfully. That means sometimes there is some occasions where you can kill a person, with like to defend yourself and to kill an enemy and all this. But it's not as easy as it's just killing. But there are conditions to be met. But there are occasions where this is not. This is permissible, like times of war and all this. But other than that, it is not permissible to kill any soul. So the first will be shirk, to invoke other God along with Allah, and the second will be killing a soul, and the third one will be fornication or to zina. So it's placed third in the Quran. So that tells us that this zina is a big sin. And another from the hadith, وَمِنْ ذَنْبٍ بَعْدَ الشِّرْكِ أَعْظَمَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ مِنْ نُطْفَةٍ وَضَعَهَا رَجُلٌ فِي رَحِمِهِ لَا يَحِلُّ لَهُ أَخْرَجَهُ ابن أبي الدنيا. So and this is a hadith, is a marfu to Ibn Abi Dunya. So the hadith says that there is no, according to the hadith, there is no sin after polytheism greater with God than a semen placed by a man in the womb that is not permissible for him. That means zina. And another hadith, hadith that is from Abdullah bin Mas'ud, on the authority of Ibn Mas'ud. He said, I asked the Prophet ﷺ, which sin is greatest towards Allah? He said, to make an equal for God, and He had created you. I said, then what? He said, and to kill your son, who you are afraid that he will fit with you. And I said, then what? He said, to commit adultery with your neighbor's wife. So this is a Sahih hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. So in this hadith, Ibn Mas'ud asked Rasulullah SAW, which is the greatest sin towards Allah? He said, to shirk, to have an equal, another God, or to believe that there is another God, or another God, or something, a God that is equal to Allah, while He had created you. That is, Allah created you. Allah has created you, but you still take another God. So this is the first one. Then he said, then what after that? Then he said, Rasulullah SAW said, and to kill your son, who you are afraid that he will fit with you. That means you are afraid that you have a son, a child, you have a child, but you are afraid that there will be no rizq, you cannot sustain, you cannot give him enough food, that he will take up your food and drinks, and your rizq, your wealth. So you kill the child to get rid of him, so he won't interfere with your wealth. So that is the second grave sin. Then he said, then I said, what? Then what? He said, after that, what is after that? He said, to commit adultery with your neighbor's wife. So the key is adultery, to commit adultery. That is the third sin. And the worst of adultery is to commit adultery with your neighbor's wife. And then there's another hadith, the adulterers would come on the day of resurrection, their faces burning with fire. They can be identified among the creatures by the stink from their private parts. This is a weak hadith, but it can be used to like a warning. It cannot be used to make a ruling, but it's a deterrence. So there are many other hadiths on zina, all leading to the same warning that it is a grave sin. And there are also acts that are described as zina because they lead to it, but they are not actually zina. These are like in a hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah, Allah has decreed for every son of Adam his share of zina, which he will inevitably commit. The zina of the eyes is unlawful looking. The zina of ears is unlawful listening. The zina of tongue is unlawful speech. The zina of the hand is unlawful gripping. The zina of the leg is walking to places where a person intends to commit immorality. The heart yearns and desires, and the person through his private parts may or may not put that desire to effect. This is from Bukhari and Muslim, hadith Sahih. So all these dalil and hadith and from the Quran shows that zina is a grave sin. It's a big sin. And the next one, Nabi Muhammad bin Zain say about sodomy. Sodomy is liwat. This is also a ma'asil faraj, the vices amongst the vices of the private parts. This is to insert the head of the male organ, is the hashafah, into the anus, into the anus, the dubur. So be it man or woman, big or small, it's considered sodomy. Okay, sodomy is like zina. There is had, yeah, it is, but there is more to it because unlike normal sexual intercourse, it is allowed between men and women who are married, but sodomy is not allowed even with husband and wife, because there's a hadith narrated by Ibn Abbas. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah does not look at a man who approaches a man or a woman anally. This is from Nasa'i and Tirmidhi, Sahih. La yanzurullahu ila rajulin ata rajulan aw imra'atan fi dubur. So this is a clear statement. This act constitute as a zina in our madhab, and the had is like zina. Like I said just now, the had is like zina. That means for there is also we call it zani muhsan and zani ghair muhsan. Zani ghair muhsan is someone who commits zina, but he have had a halal relationship, halal intercourse before. But if he had not had a halal intercourse before, then he is considered zani ghair muhsan. Then the punishment will be slightly different. That we can the details are in the bab jinayat, bab had and all. So okay, yeah, this constitutes zina in our madhab, and the had is like zina. This includes male to female, even his wife, male to male, even to himself, if that is possible. That means if a male can insert his hashafah into his own anus, then it will constitute as a zina, as a sodomy, and it's haram, and there will be had. But the had, yeah, many conditions have to be met before the had can be executed. So the act of sodomy to animals does not constitute zina, although some say it is. But in our madhab, the mu'tamad, acts of sodomy and inserting the hashafah into the faraj of an animal, or the other way around, is not considered as zina, but it's considered as a sin. It's still a big sin, but it's not considered as zina. That means there's no had. But although some of the imam in madhab Shafi'i says that it is the same as zina and there is had. Then the next one, he goes into the masturbation. Masturbation is releasing sexual desires with one's own hand. This is haram for both men and women. Releasing sexual pleasures, desires with one's own hand. So talabul mani biyadi nafsihi. That's the ta'rif. If done by one's own husband or wife, then it is allowed, no problem at all. Or same as wife is the the slave girl. Then is considered halal, although now no more slave girl. But if there is, then it's considered permissible. And the dalil is from the Quran. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلْمُومِينَ. فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ. This is from the Quran. And those who guard their chastity, i.e. private parts, from illegal sexual acts, except from their wives or the captives and slaves. These are the slave girls that their right hand possess. For them, they are free from blame. That means it's permissible. But whoever seeks beyond that, then those are the transgressors. So beyond that, that means other ways from their wives or what is that? Besides their wives or slaves and captives. Captives is the same. Once you the prisoner of war become captives and they will become slave. Then using the hands to what for their own sexual desires is not permissible. Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, "We were with the Prophet ﷺ when we were young and had no wealth whatsoever. Allah's Messenger ﷺ said, O young people, whoever among you can marry should marry, because it helps him lower his gaze and guard his modesty, that is his private parts, from committing illegal sexual intercourse. And whoever is not able to marry should fast, as fasting diminishes his sexual power." From Hadith Bukhari. So in this Hadith also, Rasulullah SAW asked the young people to get married. If not, they cannot get married because of no money or not ready yet or whatever reason it is. Then they should lower their gaze and they should fast, because the fasting can diminish the sexual power, the desires. But if they can get married, they have enough provision and they are ready. Being ready means simply as enough money or you can support a wife, then you should get married. So this also in the hadith, it doesn't. Rasulullah SAW did not specify, oh, young man, if you cannot get married, you can do masturbation. No, he said, go get married. If not, then go and fast. Because once you fast, your sexual desires will be less. And other such things, that is, other acts of vices of the private parts. There are many, and some of them, example is the act of gay or lesbianism, gay and lesbian sexual acts. These are all forbidden, impermissible, and haram, and including the sexual acts with young boys. They call it amrat. Amrat is they are young boys who have not grown beard, or even teens or 20s or 30s. 30s maybe too old, but young boys who have not grown their beard. They do not have beard, and sometimes they can look like very, very girlish maybe. So this is a problem. It's a big problem in the Arab world last time. The problem with amrats. And zina, about regarding the lesbianism, there's a hadith, although it's da'if, it's weak. As-sahag zina nisa bainahunna. This is narrated by Ibn Hajar in his kitab, one of his books. As-sahag is act of lesbianism. The act of lesbians is zina amongst women. This is a weak hadith, but it's narrated by Ibn Hajar in his book. And other such acts of vices of the private parts, which include urinating or passing motion in a mosque or a grave. Grave must be muhtaram, that means a grave of a Muslim or any Muslim, or a muhtaram grave, but not if the grave is not muhtaram, for example, Harbi, the grave of Harbi, then you can urinate or pass motion there. Although there's no reason to do that, but the ruling is we cannot urinate or pass motion in a mosque or a muhtaram grave, even in a bowl, like you stand in a mosque. You are in a mosque and urinate in a bowl in the mosque. This is still not permissible. Yeah, this is because of respect of the sacred places. So that's all. So next week, inshallah, we can continue with the Ma'asil Badan, then Gunu to Syafi'iyah. Yeah, we are almost done with the book. Allahu a'lam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbana anfa'na bima 'allamtana rabbi 'allimna alladhi yanfa'una rabbi faqqihna wa faqqih ahlana wa karabatina lana fi dinina ma'a ahli al-qudri wa anta wa dhakar rabbi waffiqna wa waffiqhum lima tawfaqta bi qawlan wa fi'lan kama warzuqil kulla halalan da'ima وأخلا أدقي علما نحظى بالخير ونكفى كل شر ربنا أصلح لنا كل شؤون وجر بالرضا منك العيون واقضي عنا ربنا كل الديون قبل أن تأتينا رسل المنون واغفر واستر أنت أكرم من ستر وصلاة الله تغشى المصطفى من إلى الحج دعانا والوفاء بكتاب به للناس شفاء وعلى الأهل الكرام شرفا وعلى أصحاب مصابه القرار اللهم اهدنا بهداك واجعلنا ممن يسارع في رضاك ولا تولنا وليا سواك ولا تجعلنا ممن خلف أمرك وأنصار وحسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.